Thank you, everyone. Good evening, everyone. On this beautiful occasion, I, Annette, is pleased to welcome each and every one of you to this brainstorming webinar on promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism, which is conducted by the Center of Research in association with Knowledge Center. We want to express our heartfelt thanks to our Dean and Director, Father Lijo Thomas, Academic Coordinator, Father Justin P. Varghese, and our faculty, Dr. Preeti. Our guest for today's webinar is a Deputy Librarian in Tata Institute of Social Science, Mumbai campus, Mr. Anand Dodamani. Mr. Anand Dodamani has been working as a regular faculty in the Center of Library and Information Management Studies. He has a PhD in Library and Information Science from Karnataka University, Dharwad. He is a seasoned professional with 18 years of experience in teaching and practice. He has a number of publications to his credit in national and international journals. In addition, he has completed two research projects funded by TIS Mumbai and the ICSSR New Delhi, respectively. He has also been recognized as a PhD guide in the institute. Anand Sir has received the prestigious 2012 Emerald South Asia Alliance Research Fund Award for his research project, Provision of Assistive Technology to Support Visually Challenged Students in Library and Information Centers, a survey of university libraries in India. He is also the recipient of the ICSSR NRCT Bilateral Exchange of Scholars Program Fellowship 2017 and has visited various university and public libraries in Thailand as a part of the fellowship. The Decidov Journal of Library and Information Technology, a publication of the DRDO Government of India, has honored him with the Certificate of Excellence in Reviewing for the year 2020. Anand Sir is an elected council member of the prestigious Indian Library Association ILA, New Delhi for the period 2019-2022. We wholeheartedly welcoming you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Now, over to you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your kind words. So I believe so I can share my screen.
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Is it visible, ma'am?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Okay, good evening, everyone. At the outset, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the authorities of Christ University, especially Dr. Praveen Vaidya sir for giving me an opportunity to share some of my thoughts on a very, very important topic, so on promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism. So as you all know, so this is one of the important topics being discussed in the university campuses across the world. Okay, so today we will try to understand what exactly this academic integrity is and how we can promote academic integrity in university campuses, and what are the steps that we can take in order to prevent the plagiarism instances. So I told you this academic integrity has become very crucial nowadays because there are instances so some researchers they are involved in a kind of academic dishonesty, like academic misconduct. So academic misconduct so it covers many aspects, like so it involves plagiarism, it involves cheating, it involves fraud, it involves fabrication of data. So there are many aspects that so the academic misconduct involves, and we'll try to understand all of those aspects in this session. So as we all know, research is an indispensable part of a society. So it has become an integral part, and without research, so we can't do anything. So it is the research that leads to the innovation, and it is the innovation that leads to technology, and it is the technology that leads to the growth. Like so if any country wants to achieve something, so whether it is economically or whether it is in academia or anything. So the research becomes the primary aspect. Like, so if they invest in research, so they can achieve their dream. So whatever that may be. So it is basically the research that takes the country or the society on a developmental path. That is there because it is research. Research is the only weapon that so through which we can try to find solution to the problems that society is facing, because the society is being faced with many problems. There are problems with regard to healthcare system. There are problems with regard to economy. There are problems with regard to commerce. There are problems with regard to education. Like so any problem, whether it is related to any field. So the research, through research and through this tool, so we can try to find a solution, and that solution so will help us address those challenges. So that is because of this, I think the governments around the world are spending a significant portion of their GDP on research and development. Even if you look at the statistics related to India, so India's spending on R&D has increased over the years. So right now, so we are one of the top countries, which are spending on GDP research. So around 0.7% of our India's GDP, total GDP, is being spent on research. Okay, and recently India has come up with the research foundation. So and they have in 2023 itself, they have earmarked on 2,000 crore rupees towards this research and development. Okay, so in that way, so even the government is more interested in investing on research. Okay, so in this way, they are supporting even the universities to conduct. They are encouraging research scholars in the universities to conduct various research units, which can be used. The findings of those research can be used for the developmental activities. So when such, when so much is riding on the research, like so much importance is given on research, any dilution to the sanctity of research will cause a serious problem to the society. Because so while conducting research, if the researchers or the academicians or the students, if they commit any mistake, so if they use fabricated data, or if they come up with the wrong solutions, so that will prove a kind of disastrous to the society. Because so if the same data is used to make some policy decisions, so that will prove disastrous, dangerous to the society. That is why so utmost care should be taken while conducting research, and that is why the research organizations are placing more importance to the research, and the universities are no exception to this, because universities are the places where a varieties of research are being taken place. There are many departments in the universities. If you visit any university, there are economics department, psychology, education, commerce, management, health system studies, like so the universities are involved in all kinds of research. Even if you take, for example, any committee that is formed to investigate any problem in the society, so you will find one or two academicians or the research scholars from a university. So that is the importance, being given to the faculty members or the research scholars who are working or studying in universities. Okay, so that is why government is also more interested in investing in the R&D activities of the universities, and the research organizations, sponsoring organizations, R&D organizations. They are also asking their scientists to have utmost integrity and ensure the quality of research outputs, because that is very, very important. So the research is being given a prime importance in the society as well as in the universities. So let us try to understand what is integrity. So we know what is research. Let us try to understand integrity. Integrity is nothing but honesty. So it's nothing but a virtue, principle, or sincerity. It can be understood in these aspects. Like, so if we are honest, then we can call that so ourselves as we are the first people with integrity. Okay, so we are having the integrity with us. So if we have virtuous personality, we have adopted the principles. If we are sincere towards our word and our behavior or attitude, so we can call that we are the people with integrity. Okay, integrity is nothing but the honesty, virtue, principle, or sincerity. So, in order to get more clarity on the subject, so I would like to quote one of the famous vachana given by Lord Basavanna. So, he was one of the philosophers in the 12th century in Karnataka. So, he says that this is the vachana given by him. So, he says, Kalabeda, Kollabeda, Husiya Nudiyelu Beda. ತನ್ನ ಬಣ್ಣಿಸಬೇಡ ಇದೀರ ಹಳಿಯಲು ಬೇಡ ಮುನಿಯಬೇಡ ಅನ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಅಸಹ್ಯಪಡಬೇಡ. So these are the words given by Lord Basavanna way back in 12th century. Today in in 2023 we are talking about integrity and all, but it is there. So these values, their integrity principles were there in our society. Okay, so 12th century was, he advised all these things to us. Kalabeda means do not steal. Kolabeda, do not kill or hurt anyone. Do not speak lie. Do not praise yourself. Do not scold anyone. Do not get angry on anyone. Don't hate poor people. So these are nothing but the integrity policies, integrity rules, or so values that so one has to inculcate in his personality in order to be a best person. Then what is academic integrity? So we know integrity. Then what is academic integrity? So in academic context, if we want to understand this, particular word, so being honest in the academic work is nothing but the academic integrity. Because when it comes to academia, so we are involved in many works. So there are admission processes going on, and there are examinations, there are evaluation work. There are many work that is being taken up by the universities and the faculty members working in the universities, or the students working studying in universities. So whatever academic work that we do, so we should be honest in that academic work. If we adopt that honesty policy, then so we can say that we have academic integrity. Okay, so if we are conducting a research, and so in that process we should be very ethical, like so in the research process also, it's a very lengthy process. Like we have to collect data from the participants, and while collecting the data also we have to follow some ethical standards, like so whatever data that we collect, whether how to safeguard the data. So if it is related to any personal data, personal information, so how we protect that data. Okay, so there are many ethical aspects, okay, in while conducting research, and we need to follow those ethical aspects. Like, so if we are taking or copying anything from anybody's work, and we have to quote it properly, we have to cite, give credit to the original author, so that is also ethical aspect. Okay, there are many things, and we will try to understand all those things when we progress towards with this session. And so that is also important. Like ethically conducting research also becomes very very important. Okay, so not only that, being fair to others is also very important in academia, because competition is there everywhere. In the academia also there is a competition, because competition should be there. Okay? Without competition, wherever there is a life, there is a competition, and without competition, we won't achieve any progress. Competition should be there, but that competition should be healthy. Because while so among the faculty members also there is a competition. Okay, so among the co-workers there is a competition, among students also there is a competition, but that competition should lead us to some positive results, so that should help us together to grow, okay, collectively. Because we in the race of competition, we should not put anybody harm to anybody, like so we have to adhere to the ethical principles, and we have to follow the ethical principles, and we have to be fair to others. Okay, so if we know something, so we have to share. Okay, we have to share. So so that fairness should be practiced, so while dealing with the people who with academia. And in order to better understand what is academic honesty or academic integrity, so it becomes essential to understand what is academic dishonesty. If you know what is academic dishonesty, automatically we will imbibe the academic integrity with us. Okay, so these are the examples of academic dishonesty, like cheating, fraud, bribery, fabrication of data, disruptive behavior, ghostwriting, publishing in predatory journals, and plagiarism. So these are the different aspects that lead us to academic dishonesty. If we keep ourselves away from these things, then so we can adopt academic integrity. Okay. So let us try to understand each of these things, and then we will in detail discuss about plagiarism. So briefly, I'll take you through all these aspects, since there are some students also among this group. So let us try to understand cheating. Cheating is nothing but copying an examination, or copying another's assignments, or using prohibited materials in while writing examinations, or submitting fake certificates. So all these instances we must have, so we have been seeing all these, examples in the academic campus, because we have seen, students copying in the examination. We have seen, students copying assignments written by their, fellow students, friends, and we have seen the students using mobile phones, or the gadgets which are not actually allowed in the examination hall. So all these things contribute to the cheating. Okay, and we have seen the instances of students submitting fake certificates to gain admissions into various courses, like whether that may be a caste certificate or that birth certificate. Okay, sometimes the fake degree certificates they bring and try to apply for PG courses or doctoral studies. So such cases are there, and so such things contribute towards cheating, and we should keep ourselves away from practicing all these things. So these are some real life examples that I am trying to give you. So here, this is one of the news items published in Mumbai Mirror, sorry, Pune Mirror. So there was a case like in that case, the Maharashtra Medical Council suspended the license of 14 doctors. 14 doctors. What was the case? So these 14 doctors, while so they while availing while practicing, they claimed that they had done a master's degree from a particular institution. But in fact, so when the board looked into those certificates, it was revealed that so in fact they had not done any master's course, okay, PG course. Okay, so they had faked the PG certificate from one of the Maharashtra one of the colleges in Bombay. Okay, and the Maharashtra Medical Council suspended the license. They were having MBBS degrees with them, but so in order to gain employability with some hospitals, so they got these fake master's certificates, MS certificates, and they submitted to those hospitals, and based on that they were practicing. So it was revealed later, and so this the license to practice of those doctors were suspended by the Maharashtra Medical Council. It was a news item published in 2020. So whatever examples I'm giving here, all are real life examples. Okay. And there is one more case, like you must have heard about this Professor Chandra Krishnamurthy, so who was the vice chancellor of Pondicherry University, and she had to resign from her position because while applying for this position, vice chancellor's position, so in her CV she had claimed that she had authored some books. Okay, but in fact, so the RTI application revealed that so in reality she had not authored any book, and so whatever she had written, and most of them are plagiarized content was there. So that news, that information made her to resign from her position, because when we reach such high positions in academia, when if we involve ourselves in some academic misconduct kind of thing, then that will put us in a very embarrassing situation. So so in order to reach to this position, she must have spent around 30 to 35 years in the academia. Okay, she must have done many good work also, but just because of some misinformation in her CV, she had to face all these challenges. Okay, so sometimes we knowingly unknowingly commit small mistakes, and such small mistakes will lead to lead us to a very dangerous situation. We have to keep ourselves away from such things. And there was one more case, like fake degree certificate case. So in which Bombay High Court asked the police to submit a probe report into doctor's arrest. Like there was a psychologist, okay, so who used to practice in one of the famous hospitals based in Bandra, Mumbai, and she was a clinical psychologist, and she had claimed that she had this PhD degree with her, but so later it was revealed that she had not done any PhD. Later it was found, and she was FIR was filed against her. Now still the investigation is going on. So this was the news item published in Indian Express in year 2021. Okay, there are many cases like this. Okay, so which are the examples of academic cheating. Then comes the bribery. So bribery is nothing but offering bribe to the professor for any academic advantage. So it applies to both the parties, like offering passing grades to students for any financial or other personal benefits, that also amounts to bribery. So it applies to both the parties, students as well as the faculty members. Okay, so if any student offers bribe to a professor for any academic advantage, that is considered as bribery. And similarly, if a professor is offering passing grades to students for any financial benefit, that is also considered as a bribery. And the corruptions, we have been reading news items in the newspapers about the corruptions in admissions, appointments, things, financial irregularities. Okay, so all such things come under bribery, and bribery is also considered as one of the academic dishonesty. So there are cases like, so the Punjab University Vice Chancellor Rajkumar was accused of recruitment scam, undue favors, and nepotism. So this was the news item published in 2023, the recent news item. Okay, and again there was a case, CBI registered a case against Chhatrapati Sahuji Maharaj University Vice Chancellor for corruption in Uttar Pradesh. So every day in the newspaper we have been reading all such kind of things. These are nothing but academic dishonesty. So a new acting Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi University of Health Sciences in Bangalore, he faced the corruption allegations. Okay, so this was also one of the best examples for bribery. And the corruption case, Vishweshwaraya Technological University based in Belgaum in Karnataka. So the Vice Chancellor had to suspend the registrar for these allegations, and the cases are still going on. So these are the perfect examples for academic bribery. Okay. Then comes the fabrication of data. I'll quickly take you all through these sessions. Then we will discuss more on plagiarism. Fabrication of data is nothing but the use of invented or cooked data. Okay. So while conducting research, the researcher or the student is expected to go to the fields and collect the actual data, and based on that actual data, he has to, start doing his research. But some students, so instead of going to the field, they cook their data, like they create their data by sitting, at the desk, and then they try to show that, so they had, in fact, they went to the fields and collected the data from the actual participants. So that is not correct. Okay, so you have to go to the fields, even if you are getting a data which is not matching with your hypothesis or the objectives. So you have to be very very sincere, very very true in reporting the data. So you have to do that. But some students are getting involved in such fabrication of data kind of thing, and that is also considered as one of the academic dishonesty. Okay, and in the laboratories, so if the student is doing a research related to some basic science, so they go to the laboratories, and if they're not getting the results, so which is appropriate for their research objectives, they try to play with the data, that they misrepresent the experimental data. So they have to be very very careful. So nobody will come to you and tell you that whatever you are doing is wrong, but you have to adopt some ethical principles. You have to have some integrity with you, that so that will only guide you towards the you know to become a better person. Okay, so nobody will monitor you directly. So as a student, as a researcher, so we have to be very true, so very sincere in reporting what when it comes to research. Okay, so this is the fabrication of data, and there are some examples, real life examples for this fabrication of data. So you must have heard about this, one of the institutions based in Chandigarh, my Institute of Microbial Technology, IMTech. Okay, so this is one of the flagship laboratory under CSIR. Okay, so there was a scientist, and so along with his student, he had published on 7 papers in international journals, 7 papers, and all of those 7 papers were published with cooked data or the fabricated data. Okay, later it was revealed, and that scientist was asked to withdraw all those 7 papers. Okay, and not only that, so some penalty was also imposed on him, and his pensionary benefits are also stopped by the government of India. So, okay, so these are the harsh punishments, actually. But so the government has to take all these things, because in order to ensure integrity, or you know uh, in order to make the faculty to be honest towards their work, and such penalty and such punishment should be there. Okay, so these are the results, like so if we are involved in such activities like academic dishonesty, these are the things that we have to face. Okay, so this is one of the real life example. And so recently, the university lodges forgery case against a student. So University of Mumbai. So there was one student. He had written to the university that he had completed a particular degree from the university during a particular period. But when university started looking for the data, so they came to know that that student never took admission in the university, and he was falsely claiming that certificate. So the university lodged a case against him. So these are the examples of fabrication of data. And there is one more instance. So one of the colleges, okay, while undergoing for this NAC assessment, NAC is considered as one of the benchmark assessments for the colleges and universities. Based on NAC assessment, we claim that so we are up to the standard, and we try to attract more number of students based on NAC rating, like we have got A grade, B grade, A plus plus, or 5-star grade, like that. So we, the colleges and the universities claim, okay, but this assessment should be very honest. Okay, so the college should reveal all the things clearly, like so if they have the infrastructure facilities, they have to report it sincerely, and the committee will come and so the make the assessment based on the data that we provide. We have to submit self study report first, and then based on that self study report, the NAC committee will visit the campus and they undertake the assessment. But while doing so, one of the colleges, they claimed in their self study report that they had access to this e-Shodha Shuddhi, this e-Shodha Sindhu. Okay, so there is one implement program, Enlist program. So we call it, for universities, we call it Enlist. Okay, so they had mentioned in their report that they had access to the they subscribed to the Enlist program. But so it was found that in fact they had not subscribed to the Enlist program. Just just not to mention in the application they had they did it, but later it was revealed, and fortunately the NAC didn't take any action against that particular college. Okay, they just with the warning they left the college like that. Okay, so this is also the example of fabrication of data. So while submitting any application, while applying for any job or interviews, so we have to be honest. If we have done something, then so there is no, then there is a point in claiming that. If we have not done anything, then there is no point in claiming such things. Okay, just to impress somebody or just to get some good rating, so we should not involve in the fabrication of data. Then comes the disruptive behavior, a behavior that is unacceptable to the teacher. Okay, so in the classrooms and all, so that is called as a disruptive behavior. Okay, and then disrespecting teachers and other fellows in the classroom. Okay, so while classes are going on, some students they disrespect the teachers and the fellow students in the classroom, and that is not the right thing to do. And so we have also noticed that so while we speak in the classroom, while we are teaching something, the students are involved in talking, texting, viewing materials in their mobile phones, okay, which is totally unrelated to the course. Okay, so that is also considered as one of the academic dishonesty. It's considered as a disruptive behavior. Okay, and not keeping mobile phones on silent mode during the class, not only in the class. So if we are in any academic discussion, or if we are into the meeting, okay, and if we are attending any conference seminars, we have to ensure that our mobile phones are kept in silent mode. Okay, so if during the classroom, so if mobile starts ringing, then that will disturb others. Okay, and that sensitivity we should have. Okay, so as a student, as a faculty members, as a research scholars, we should have that sensitivity when we are entering the library premises. We have to ensure that our mobile phones are on silent mode. Okay, otherwise it will disturb others. Okay, so these are considered as disruptive behavior. And this posting of unwanted comments about the institute on social media platforms. Nowadays everyone is using social media, whether it is Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. We frequently use. Okay, we spend most of our time on these social media platforms, because if we have something against the institution, so please be informed that all the universities, education institutions, they have set standards for addressing grievances. If the students are having any problems, grievances, there are committees to address such grievances. Okay, so instead of going and approaching those committees, if we are having problem with any aspect, okay, then so we directly go to Facebook and start commenting about the institutions, and start putting negative comments about the institution and its administration. That is not considered as a good behavior, and that also comes under disruptive behavior, because there is a system, established system is there in every university. First we have to follow that system. So if you're not getting any outcome, like any result, positive comments or positive results from the authorities, then last resort, so you can approach the social media to gather support for that. Okay, but in the initial stages, if you directly go to social media and put any comments, that is not the right thing to do. Okay, so there are some real life examples for this disruptive behavior. Sambalpur University suspended assistant professor for indiscipline. So there was an assistant professor. He frequently used to, comment about the university administration on the social media, and finally, he was, suspended by the registrar in order to discipline him. So this is one of the classic cases for this disruptive behavior, because it applies not only to the students, it also applies to the faculty members who are working in the universities. And there is one more case, like, Banaras Hindu University debarred 11 students for leading 2017 protest against the administration. There was one case going about a student, and so in order to help that student, support the student, and a group of students, started protesting against the administration. So in spite of the assurance by the administration that they would do something for that, okay, but they kept on, protesting against the administration, and they started, disrupting the administrative work, and finally the BHU had to take a call of, disciplining the students, okay. So this was also one of the classic cases. And two PhD students at IIT Guwahati, Indian Institute of Technology Guwahati, they faced disciplinary action for protest social media post. So one of the students, okay, he started dharna in the university campus. So in spite of the administration assuring him about the, the solution, and one of them, went to the Facebook, and so he made some negative comments, remarks about the university, the institution IIT Guwahati, and they had to take a call that, so they initially suspended them for, then they have to, give a kind of undertaking, so in order to continue their studies, okay. So this is also an example. I'm just trying to make you aware about the consequences that you might, as a student or as a scholar or the faculty, might face if you involve yourself in such situations. And then comes a very important topic, that is publishing in predatory journals. This is also one of the very important thing. It is also considered as academic dishonesty, publishing in predatory journals. Predatory journals means fake journals, okay. And how to identify these fake journals, okay. They send these predatory journals or the fake journals, they send repeated emails to the authors seeking their papers for publication. Please remember that no standard journal will send any emails to you asking for your manuscript, okay. So if you want to publish any paper, you have to visit the, website of that particular, journal, standard journal, and then you have to follow their instructions, okay. Then you have to prepare your manuscript according to the instructions given by that particular journal, and then you have to submit your paper. Once you submit your paper, that will be sent to, the subject experts for blind reviewing, okay, peer reviewing. And once they get positive, feedback about your paper, then only they will accept your paper for publication. That is the standard practice. But if any journal is sending you in the emails requesting you to submit your manuscript, okay, then please, consider that, that particular journal is a fake journal, okay. Sometimes the good journals are also send emails to you, but you have to be, very alert, okay. So then first you have to go to that particular journal, and then check whether that journal is a standard journal or not. How to identify the standard journal, that also we will discuss, okay. There are UGC care list journals are there, and so I'll discuss more about that when I come to that point, okay. So but if the journal is sending any email, that is the first point, first, alert that you will get, like this can be the fake journal. And these fake journals, they charge exorbitant APC. APC means author publication charges to publish papers, okay. So they say that in their email, if you submit your manuscript and if you pay some, 10,000, 15,000, then so we will immediately send you acceptance letter. So if they're claiming that, please, be away from such, offerings, like, so you have to be alert, okay. So you should not submit your manuscript to such journals. And these fake journals, they don't follow peer review process, okay. Peer review process is a standard process of, checking the quality of the, journal article. But these fake journals, they do not undertake all these peer review process. They simply get your journal manuscript or article, then so they will print it, not publish, they just print it, okay. And immediately they send acceptance letter to you. So such practices will be there. And the important thing is, these fake journals are not listed in the UGC list of approved journals, okay. So there is a a database being maintained by the University Grants Commission with the help of Pune University, UGC Care List. There is a dedicated website for this. Okay, and there are two types of databases: UGC Care List 1 and UGC Care List 2. Okay, and just in order to, so if you are planning to publish any of your article, so first you have to visit that website. Okay, you have to register yourself, so it will not take more than 5 minutes of you. First, just provide your name and email details. So just you have to log in and check. Okay, subject wise, the list of is placed there. Okay, so category 1 and category 2. So UGC care list category 1 means all the UGC approved journals are there, and in the category 2, the journals which are listed, which are indexed in globally accepted or globally recognized databases like Scopus, Web of Science. So if the journal is listed in those databases, there is no need to check for the quality of such journals. You can directly send your manuscript to those journals. Okay, so they are there. And there are some standard journals in India, so which are which have not made it to the list of Scopus or Web of Science, but they are still considered as the standard journals, qualitative journals. And UGC has compiled such list, okay, in all the subjects, whether it is management or commerce, economics, political science, English literature, library sciences. Okay, so subject wise they have prepared the list with the help of the experts. Okay, and you have to check whether that particular journal that you want to submit your article is there or not in that list. Okay, so if it is in Scopus or Web of Science, there is no need for you to cross check. So if that particular journal is not available in these two databases, then you have to check the UGC care list number 1. Okay, then so you go to the subject category and then try to look for that particular journal. So if it is listed there, then you send your public manuscript. Otherwise, please be aware. So as you are aware, so India is the top contributor of research in bogus journals. Okay, so about 27% of our publications are published in bogus or the fake journals. This is the state statistics. So I got from one of the Times of India publication. Okay, so we have to, but nowadays because of this happening, so the UGC has come up with a new policy, like because research is not the it is not a cup of everybody's cup of tea, like so there are some faculty and some research scholars who are really interested in publication. Okay, and there are some teachers, they're really good in teaching classrooms. Okay, but so when it comes to research, they have this feeling like they're not really good in publication or conducting research, but they're very good teachers. Okay, that is why so UGC is trying to make a clear cut difference between that, and that is why in order to reduce the number of publications being published in bogus or fake journals, so UGC has come up with the new guidelines for the research scholars particularly. Earlier, previously, so there was a condition for the research scholars that if they want to submit their thesis for the award, then before that they have to publish they had to publish two publications in a good journals, in a peer reviewed journals. That condition was there. In order to meet that criteria or that condition, so the research scholars used to adopt other ways, like so going and approaching these bogus journals. Now the UGC has done away with that rule, and now there is no compulsion on the part of the researchers with regard to publication. So without any publication also, so you can submit your thesis for the award of the degree. That is the clear thing now. Okay, even for the faculty members, the guidelines are relaxed right now, especially for the library science faculty and library science practitioners like librarians. So we do not have that compulsion of publication. Okay, and this is the website of UGC care list. So if whenever you are free, so you can just visit this website and so check whether that particular journal that you want to publish your article in is listed here or not. There are UGC care list group 1 and group 2. Okay, just you have to create a login ID and then so you can start doing your work. Then comes the availing the services of ghostwriters. Okay, ghostwriters. This is also considered as one of the academic dishonesty. Ghostwriting means hiring somebody to write for you. Like freelance writers are there, so we call them freelance writers. If we are availing the services of the freelance writer, okay, to write our thesis, to prepare our manuscripts, then that is considered as wrong of the academic dishonesty. But when you in legal terms, hiring ghost or writers or the freelance writers is not illegal, like so it is not an illegal activity. But so if you are a celebrity, or so if you are writing your own autobiography, okay, so if you are not getting time, and if you are not disciplined, okay, so then you can hire somebody to write your story. Okay, so you will tell the story, and so the writer, so the freelance writer will write it for you. But when it comes to academic work, like so if you're doing a research, okay, so if you hire somebody to write your chapters, like thesis chapters, and to collect the data or to analyze the data, then that is considered as unethical. So in this ghostwriting, two parties are involved. The first is the author, who hires the professional freelance writer to produce the content, and there is one more party, that is ghost, the freelance writer who is paid by the author for producing the content. As I clearly told you, ghostwriting is not illegal, because if you're writing some personal things, like so if you are publishing a novel or writing a storybook, and if in that process if you take the help of the freelance writer, that is ethical. But when it comes to academia, if you're conducting a research, and if you outsource your activity, academic activity, to some freelance writer, then that is not ethical. Okay, then comes the very important topic, plagiarism. Okay, plagiarism is nothing but the practice of taking someone else's words or an idea and passing it as one's own. So this is the simple definition about the plagiarism. Plagiarism is that when we take the idea from somebody's books while reading, and so we represent that idea as if it is created by us own, then so that is called as plagiarism. So for example, for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. This is one of the famous quotes given by Sir Isaac Newton. And if I take these words, and so I represent them as if they are created by my own, like so here in this case example, so I have given my name to this quotation, so this is called as plagiarism. Okay, so there are many types of plagiarism. You know what is plagiarism? So copying somebody's work without giving credit to him is termed as plagiarism. But when we look the plagiarism, deeply, there are many types and forms of plagiarism. So let us try to understand what those forms. There is a direct plagiarism. There is a mosaic plagiarism. There is false attribution, like so that is also considered as a plagiarism. And accidental plagiarism is there, self plagiarism is there, and incorrect paraphrasing. So even if you copies somebody's text and you paraphrase it systematically, then that is okay. So if you incorrectly paraphrase something, and so without giving citations or the credit, the references to the original author, then that is also considered as a plagiarism. So these are the different types and forms of plagiarism. Let us try to understand each of them in detail. Like direct plagiarism. Direct plagiarism means directly copying someone else's work without making any changes. Okay, so if you're reading a book, and if you come across with come across of any particular paragraph or a sentence, if you directly copy that whole sentence or whole paragraph without making any changes, if you use that in your assignment or thesis, so that particular activity is called as direct plagiarism. Here you are not making any changes to the original text, you're just copying, whether it is from internet or any book, you're just copying and pasting it in your work. That is called as direct plagiarism. And then comes mosaic plagiarism. So under this, what happens? You partially paraphrase the works of others and not give proper credit to the original source. You copy, you paraphrase the sentence, complete paragraph, you do it, you change the words and all, but you fail to give credit to the original source. Because whenever you, even if you paraphrase the original text, because that idea is coming from somebody else, and you have to give credit to that original source or the author. Okay, if you fail in that duty, then so your activity or your particular work falls under this mosaic plagiarism. Okay, then comes false attribution. When a quotation or a work is attributed to a wrong person, whether that is by accident or with bad intention, so that comes under false attribution. Sometimes what we do, so we copy a quotation and we come across a quotation and we use that quotation, and so instead of giving credit to the original author of that quotation or work, so we give credit to some other author, like whether sometimes that happens by accident or sometimes with bad intention. Okay, so if such things are happening, then that is called as false attribution. False attribution is also a type of plagiarism. And comes the accidental plagiarism, when a writer fails to follow proper scholarly procedures for citation without an intention to cheat. So here please remember, so here the scholar is doing all he can. Okay, so he's following all the standards, like set procedure, like paraphrasing, everything he's doing, but he's not following the procedures of citation, how to cite the author properly. If you are using a particular style, then you have to do it systematically. Okay, so for that now, so there are many tools are available, like so open source tools, like reference management tools are there. So the students should start using such tools to avoid accidental plagiarism. Sometimes we fail in our duty to cite the authors properly, so that is called as, but we do not have any intention to cheat that author, but we don't know how to do it. Okay, so even if that is happening, that is also a kind of plagiarism also only, and that is called as accidental plagiarism. That is why we here in this we conduct many workshops for reference management tools, like so whenever the new students join, so we first train them, so how to install the software on their computer, laptop, and so how to go ahead with the reference management tools, because in the process of their academic journey, so they might be consulting many books and journal articles. When they have a tool installed in their laptop, so it becomes very easier for them to manage all these things. So in order to avoid accidental plagiarism, we have to adopt, there are tools available, only thing is we have to use them. Then comes self plagiarism. So this is very important. Okay, so it is nothing, recycling or reusing one's own specific words from previously published text. So many faculty, they knowingly or unknowingly do this. Okay, self plagiarism, because so for example, I have published a work, I have done a research, and so based on the data, so I have published a work. Okay, one paper is already published, and when I'm publishing my second paper, so I'll use the same data, okay, which is already used to publish the first paper. If I use the same data, so without citing the first paper, then that is called as a self plagiarism. Okay, self plagiarism. Actually, self citation we should avoid as faculty members. We should avoid giving self citations. Okay, so for our own papers, if it is essential, then only you go for that. Okay, otherwise if you're using the same data or the data which is already used in the first paper to publish the second paper, so then that is called as self plagiarism. So UGC has come up with the clear cut guidelines. So at the end of the session, I'll show you that circular also to you. So self plagiarism one should avoid. Okay, otherwise serious implications are there for the faculty members. And comes the incorrect paraphrasing, when a writer replaces few words with synonyms without changing the structure of the sentences. Okay, so if it is happening, then it is called as again the plagiarism. Incorrect paraphrasing is also termed as plagiarism. Okay, because in order to do the effective paraphrasing, there is a set process. Okay, merely changing few words here and there will not serve any purpose. Okay, then comes there are plagiarism, based on the content type, like text plagiarism, image plagiarism, video plagiarism, speech plagiarism. So we already understood text plagiarism, because so most of the plagiarism happens with text plagiarism only, text only. Okay, but we have to be careful about the images. So while we when we write any assignment or when we write the thesis, sometimes we have to use images. Okay, so whenever we require any image, we just go to Google or any other search engine, and we try to download the images, and without giving proper credit to the creator of that image, we just use that image. When we forget to give credit, we give credit to the text. Okay, but when it comes to image, we fail in our duty. That is happening, then obviously that is also a plagiarism. And sometimes while conducting our lectures, sometimes faculty members, we use the video lectures. Okay, videos and other things in the classroom to make the concepts very clear to the students. Okay, so while doing so, we have to clearly mention that from which source we are taking these videos. Okay, so whether we have downloaded it from the YouTube or some other source, we have to clearly give credit to the original creators. Otherwise, if we fail in that in our duty, then again that is also a kind of plagiarism. Then comes speech plagiarism, Nowadays the faculty members, so they go to different workshops, seminars as resource persons, and while giving their speech sometimes they quote people, so if somebody has said something like, so as I particularly used in this initial stages of this session, I used a quote by Lord Basavanna. So the vachana I quoted, okay, so I clearly mentioned that, so these are the wordings given by Lord Basavanna. So if I use the same wordings and present as if these are created by me, okay, while giving speech, then that is also a kind of plagiarism. So even while, not only while writing something, so even if you're talking, if you are addressing some gathering, so if you use somebody else's words, then so we have to give credit to them, otherwise that is also a kind of plagiarism. So there are some real life examples for text plagiarism. So there is no need to mention that I have already given many examples to you for text plagiarism. Chanda Krishnamurthy Professor उनका भी example दिया था. There are many examples, and so image plagiarism. So you must have heard about this this particular thing case, like Pulitzer Grant winner Indian photographer Mr. Datta. So he was a international award winner, but he intentionally used one of the images photographs, clicked by one of the international photographer, and he claimed that as his own. Later he had to apologize for his activity. And so just imagine, so when you are an international grant winner, and when such situations put you in a compromising situation, like so it is very bad for the organization that he is attached to, or for himself, okay, because he will lose all these credit, okay, so his reputation will be at stake. So that should not happen, because even though sometimes even the big personalities, they knowingly and unknowingly do such things, because that is why I believe, so we have to be very very careful while dealing with text, while dealing with images, even while dealing with the videos or the speech, okay, so we have to be very very careful. If people are watching, we are nowadays, we are using social media heavily, and the people, so many eyes are on us, okay, so people are watching what we are doing. Once if something goes wrong, then so so we will be into trouble, okay, so we have to be very very careful. And then there are some real life examples for video plagiarism. So you must have heard about uh, about these movies like Rabda, Hindi Medium, Dear Jindagi, Mardani, Ek Villain, Dangerous Ishq, Wanted, Tare Zameen Par. Okay, so there were some things going on, because these films were accused, these movies were accused of video plagiarism, okay, so you can get more details about all these things. For example, Tare Zameen Par. So in this particular movie, so there was an allegation that so the director or the producer has used the content from a particular book, authored by Shakuntala Devi, like that. So so there are allegations again related to all these movies. Okay, so because so there are some things. Okay, so you have to, if you want to get more details about these movies, you can just Google. So you'll get more details. Like these are the examples for video plagiarism. Then this is the very interesting example for speech plagiarism.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Sir, this is our last 5 minutes, so can we ask a few questions? I'm having a question, sir, for you.
Okay, this is timing. There is a limitation with regard to time. Okay. Okay. Should I continue or what?
Yeah, you can continue and finish by, I mean, the highlight of the talk.
Okay, okay, okay. No, no
Yeah,
problem.
yeah.
So this is the
5 minutes
example
are
of
left. Uh-huh. Yeah.
speech plagiarism.
Yes.
Okay, so this was an example. So there are many examples like this, and how to avoid plagiarism. Just so we have to start writing from the scratch and do effective paraphrasing, use quotation marks, and provide proper citation references. Use plagiarism checkers. Okay, the Turnitin and other softwares available nowadays. You can take help of these softwares to avoid plagiarism. Okay, and just this was what I wanted to discuss. And so there is one more thing. Just I wanted to show the UGC guidelines on plagiarisms. Okay, one second. So UGC has come up with a particular guideline regarding this plagiarism. So we call it as the UGC guidelines for promotion of academic integrity and prevention of plagiarism. So different levels are set in this particular guideline, like level 0, level 1, level 2, like that. Okay. So if the similarities are up to 10%, there will be no penalty, because there are various stages set, like similarities above 10% to 40%, student will be asked to submit revised script within 6 months. So this guideline is available online. Okay, different levels are set. So please remember that your similarity, when it is checked, that should be below 10%. Okay. So for more information, you can just go through this guideline. And with this, I conclude my session. So if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Sir, may I?
Yes, yes, please.
So, what impact do you believe plagiarism has on the quality and credibility of research in your field?
Ma'am, so it will bring bad name not only for you, but also to your institution. So if you are affiliated to any university or institution, if you're involved in plagiarism, that obviously bring bad name to both of you. Okay, so we should try to avoid plagiarism. So it has a very serious impact on the academia. So that is why we have to be very, very careful in our activities.
And also, sir, what measures do you think should be taken to mitigate not only ethical issues but also the potential harm to scientific progress and knowledge dissemination caused by plagiarism?
Right, ma'am. So whenever we, author any assignment or any thesis or any manuscript, so we have to ensure that there should not be any, instances of plagiarism. Like, so we have to check it with the help of Turnitin software or any good plagiarism detection software. And there are many paraphrasing tools available nowadays. Like, so even you can take help of the AI tools like ChatGPT and all. Okay, but so by utilizing all these tools, there are ways to, you know do away with these dishonesty, academic dishonesty. By utilizing these tools, we can maintain the academic integrity in our campuses.
Sir,
Thank you.
except
Thank you so much,
Turnitin,
sir.
Thank you.
sir,
Yes.
the Turnitin is actually the university provides us the login, and then only we can go to the Turnitin to check our plagiarism content. So, are there any software other than Turnitin where we could be able to check on
Yes.
spot, like the Grammarly can be used on spot. So, are there any software like Grammarly where the
Actually,
plagiarism content?
there is a system called, so Implement UGC has come up with a scheme called E-Shodha Shuddhi. Okay, under this program, the UGC is providing the all the universities with the efficient software. Now the drill bit is being considered for this program. Okay, so that is equally efficient software as with regard to Turnitin. But now, so you can use, your university can create an account for all the students. Okay, so that as we have done in TISS, we have given access to all the students through TESOL. Okay, so we are using a learning platform, and through that, whenever a student submits any assignment, and he can check that plagiarism similarity index, and after that, once he is satisfied, then only he can submit. That can be followed in your university also, and they may be doing it already. Okay, you please be in touch with your librarian, Dr. Vaidya sir, and she will guide you.
So, can you tell me the name once again?
E-Shodha Shuddhi program is there. Under that program, so your university can get access to the most efficient plagiarism detection tool. And there are many private, freely available tools are also there. But so they are not efficient, because when it comes to Turnitin or any other equally efficient software, because they have access to vast database. So whenever you submit your manuscript, that can be checked against all the databases, and the results that they provide are very accurate. Okay, that is why I insist you to use such softwares. Otherwise, there is a Quillbot or many other free softwares are there. With the help of that, also you can keep check on plagiarism. E-Shodha Shuddhi, you just note down this scheme, E-Shodha Shuddhi. Under this, drill bit software is being supplied to all the universities. Okay, so whether it is private university, deemed university, or central university, they can easily access all these things. Is any other question?
From the audience part, is there any questions? asking every students to fill out the feedback form for receiving certificates. Hope nobody is having any questions. Yes, go ahead. Durga, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
So even after the session, so if you have any doubts, so can keep in touch with me or Dr. Vaidya sir, for clarity, more clarity. Okay. So we can always discuss. If you have any doubts, you can write to me or you can directly call me or you can contact the sir also for clarification. Okay.
Yes, yes, definitely.
And
Yes.
this is not the end. Okay. So
Yeah.
just is just the beginning, so we can continue our partnership.
Thank you so
Okay.
much,
Thank you.
sir, for
Thank you,
this.
Anand. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir, for this wonderful session. Coming to the conclusion of today's webinar with Mr. Anand Dodamani. He has shed light on the crucial topic of promoting academic integrity and preventing plagiarism. We have explored various strategies and insights to safeguard the principles of honesty and authenticity in academic pursuits. As we continue to strive for the culture of academic integrity, it is our collective responsibility to apply these principles in our educational institutions and foster an environment where learning and knowledge thrive in an atmosphere of trust and respect. Once again, we express our heartfelt thanks to our Dean and Director, Father Lijo Thomas, Academic Coordinator, Father Justin P. Workis, and our faculty, Dr. Preeti, Center for Research in Association with Knowledge Center, and our dear librarian, Praveen Sir. Thank you so much, Anand Sir, for joining us in this valuable discussion, and we look forward to see these principles in action to enhance the quality of education and research. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir, for coming us.
Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for the opportunity.
So,
I really
for
enjoyed.
very, yeah, yeah, sir, it was very nice, and you have given the students about what real the plagiarism is. Please keep in touch in the future.
Sure, sure.
So can collaborate some
Oh, sure,
uh,
ma'am.
research content and
Yeah.
other things. Thanks a lot, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Anand.
Uh,
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Praveen sir. Thank you
Yes.
once
Thank you,
again
ma'am.
for
Yeah.
introducing Anand sir to us.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.